the man within the monster. Lon Chaney, master of the macabre. Movie auditions always call for an actor's best work. Usually an actress primps before a makeup mirror, nervously reciting her lines as she makes sure the curl on her forehead sits in just the right spot for the character she's going to portray. And a male actor similarly frets over his hair, carefully straightening the part in his gelled locks as he mumbles his lines to the mirror. When their big moments arrive, each will take a deep breath, say a silent prayer, and embody their lines with every ounce of their inner energy. Lon Chaney, by contrast, used a slightly different approach when he auditioned for a role in the 1919 silent film, The Miracle Man. I flopped down, he recalled, rolled my eyes up in my head like a blind man, and started dragging my body along the ground. Chaney knew the director had actually wanted to hire a contortionist to portray the role of the Frog, a con artist who pretended to be crippled and conspired with a faith healer in a scam. His bizarre but ingenious audition succeeded, and the role catapulted him to the upper ranks of actors in the budding movie business. Not only did the film gross over $2 million, more than $30 million in today's money, but it established him as a movie star as well as a master of makeup. During the 1920s, the mention of Lon Chaney's name induced visions of a nearly endless parade of wretched characters that repelled the viewer's eyes but touched their hearts. Predominant among those were Quasimodo, the hunchbacked bell ringer of Notre Dame, and the tortured and grotesque Phantom of the Opera. Chaney's incredible transformations into the odd and rejected characters of the world prompted the then popular joke, "Don't step on that spider, it might be Lon Chaney." Chaney's childhood uniquely prepared him for his future as a silent film actor playing characters on the fringes of society. His mother, Emma, was born deaf, and his father, Frank, lost his hearing at the age of 2 from a high fever. Their conditions not only sparked Lon's empathy for the disenfranchised, but helped him hone his pantomiming skills to perfection. When young Leonidas Chaney related stories to his parents about people and events in the neighborhood, he learned to mime with exaggerated movements and facial expressions. As he saw smiles spreading across the faces of his family and friends in response to his storytelling, he had his first taste of the acting life. Lon was not the only one in his family who drifted toward a theatrical career. His older brother John managed a local opera house and gave Lon a job as a prop boy. Their father, however, felt one actor in the family was enough, and arranged for a more stable career for Lon as a carpet layer, wallpaper hanger, and interior decorator. The siren call of the theater, though, could not be stifled. When his brother contacted him a few years later with an offer to join him on a 1902 vaudeville tour, the pull of carpet laying and wallpapering was no match for the allure of the theatrical life. Lon soon became adept at making costumes, building scenery, and acting in various bit parts. He also studied a field that would become the cornerstone of his career, the art of stage makeup. The years of touring the vaudeville circuit also added romance to his life. In 1905, the 22-year-old Chaney met and married a 16-year-old singer named Cleva Crichton. Their son, Crichton, was born the next year. Lon returned to his earlier carpet-laying and wallpaper-hanging duties for financial security. Before long, though, they took to the road, taking Crichton with them. Their early years seemed ideal, with Lon working as a stage manager, a choreographer, and actor, while Cleva developed into a popular singer. Unfortunately, the marriage began to crumble from what one biographer called a mixture of working conditions, money troubles, and jealousy. Many years later, Crichton, by then well known as Lon Chaney, Jr., recalled visiting bars where his father gave impromptu performances while Crichton stuffed his pockets with sandwiches. The couple's emotional issues came to a head in April of 1913. Cleva suddenly appeared in the wings of Los Angeles' Majestic Theater where Lon was performing. Apparently crazed with marital retaliation, she decided to end her life in the middle of his show. With a dramatic flourish, she drank a vial of poison. The chemical, mercuric chloride, didn't kill her, but sadly it ruined her vocal cords and ended her singing career. The couple divorced shortly afterward, and Lon gained custody of Crichton. Fortunately, his second marriage 2 years later to his childhood friend Hazel Hastings launched a stable and loving lifetime pairing. The publicity that accompanied Cleva's suicide attempt played a factor in his move from the theater to the emerging field of motion pictures. He had already shown an interest in movies, though, and had found work the year before with Hollywood's Universal Studios. He worked as an extra and lugged around scenery and props. Much as he had with his previous jack-of-all-trades stint in the theater, Chaney dived into the field with gusto. He learned everything he could about lighting, filming, directing, and the other behind-the-scenes aspects of the medium. His first appearance in front of the cameras came a few months after Cleva's suicide attempt, in the one-reel 15-minute film Poor Jake's Demise. During the next 6 years, Chaney played bit parts in about 70 one- and two-reel flicks. Since he had been so faithful to Universal, he decided to ask studio manager William Sistrom for an increase in his meager $75 weekly salary. Sistrom flatly refused him, telling Chaney he would never be worth more than $100 a week. Needless to say, that response loosened Chaney's bond with Universal, and he soon offered his talents to other studios. In 1918, he was given a substantial role in William S. Hart's picture called Riddle Gone. His performance caught the attention of industry leaders, and the following year, when Chaney snagged the role of the Frog in the movie The Miracle Man, with his flop-down, body-dragging audition, his name soon became the first a producer called when a part called for a character who was outside society's norms. Producers and directors knew he would put everything he had into his role. For the hunchbacked Quasimodo, he strapped a 72-pound harness on his back to give him the look of being stunted and deformed. The anguish on his face was often enhanced by actual pain. "I could only work a few hours a day, it hurt me so," he reflected years later in Movie Magazine. The false teeth he wore for the part made it nearly impossible for him to speak. To play the legless character Blizzard in the film The Penalty, he devised a leather harness to strap his tightly bent legs to his thighs so he could walk on his knees, which sported fake shoes. Several times he reportedly wore the painful rig longer than his doctor advised and collapsed on the set. One reason he put himself through such discomfort was a desire to portray the poignant humanity lurking behind the grotesque exterior of each character. There would be no purpose in playing so hideous a character, Chaney once stated. if in the end we could not feel the man had a soul. Roll by roll, Lon Chaney opened the doors of movie monsterdom for the new batch of up-and-coming actors like Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi, and his son Crichton, who the studios insisted on billing as Lon Chaney Jr. As they followed in his footsteps, they were reminded to look past the grotesque face of each hideous character they portrayed to see the man within the monster.